Yeah, this video is going to get me a lot of attention for all the wrong reasons. I've stated before how the trailers for the upcoming Captain Marvel movie have felt kind of off to me. I'm still excited for it. I'm excited for every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, but the trailers for this one in particular have been kind of lackluster in my opinion. I know ultimately the problem is me. I'm just not connecting with this film the way I have with other Marvel films. I don't think it's because they're pushing the whole woman hero agenda. I mean, I was pumped for Wonder Woman before that came out, but why? What are these trailers doing wrong that the trailers for the other Marvel films did so right? Let's see if we can find out. So I'm not going to look at every trailer for every Marvel film. That is insane, and I don't have the time to do that. What I did was I really looked at more so the first or second trailer for all of these solo films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And only then I looked at the trailer for their first movie, not any of the sequels that they're in. So really Iron Man 1, Thor 1, Captain America 1, like that. I mean, chances are if I like the character's first movie, I'm probably gonna see their second movie. Unless it's a total, complete garbage fire. Looking at you, Revenge of the Fallen. So let's look at the very first trailer for the very first MCU film, Iron Man. Right out the gate, we get quick cuts, a techno rock soundtrack, and Tony Stark himself talking about how he conducts business and what kind of a person he is, with the kind of asshole bravado that somehow always wins people over. In less than a minute, the trailer really gives you a sense of who Tony Stark is in the beginning of the film. A charming jerk. But after seeing him at the top of his game, he's immediately brought down to ground level, getting kidnapped and being forced to use his wits and technical know-how to escape. From there, the trailer goes into a kick-ass montage of Tony Stark putting on the first Iron Man suit, escaping, and then getting flashes of other characters and segments from the film, all set to Black Sabbath's Iron Man. I'd love to play you some of that, but you know, Content ID being the way it is, I could get in trouble. Here's 5 seconds. So why is this a good trailer? Well, I think it's because it does a very good job of introducing us to Tony Stark, the man who will become the titular Iron Man. And this is important because back in 2008, not many people knew who Tony Stark was. Not many people knew who Iron Man was. And even somebody like me who had read the comics and knew who Iron Man was beforehand wasn't really sure of what they were going to do with him on the big screen, especially what Robert Downey Jr. was going to do. And this trailer really showed you what they were intending to do with this character. And really, it does this by just letting Tony talk, showing off his attitude and demeanor. And it shows him like this before the turning point that leads him to become a superhero. And really, for the most part, all the Marvel trailers do this. When they introduce us to a new character, they show us who they are and what they're all about before they show us clips of the awesome stuff. The trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming, for example, starts with him quipping at bad guys and then shows him in high school with his classmates doing high school things and even talking to Tony Stark about becoming an Avenger. And if you ask me, it did a great job of differentiating this yet another new Spider-Man from the more drama-focused Sam Raimi films and the more, hey, look at the cool trends we're chasing to be cool Mark Webb Spider-Man films. Or take Doctor Strange. Similar to Iron Man, it shows him being a jerk doctor before a horrible accident brings him down to ground level and then eventually showcasing all the weird, awesome magic stuff he does. Now, not every Marvel trailer does this. The first trailer for Black Panther didn't really have T'Challa talk or have anybody talk about him other than his father saying he's a good man with a good heart. It was more about showcasing Wakanda and the overall world that the movie was going to be portraying. But it did it with a sense of style and tone vastly different from all the previous Marvel films that it got me very interested. And by the time we got the second trailer, not only did it do more world building and showcasing more style and tone, but it gave T'Challa one line that cemented him as the badass king that he is.
Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
I think you see what I'm getting at here. The trailers for the previous Marvel films have done a great job of introducing us to these new characters, showcasing who they are and what to expect from their first big screen adventures. So what about Captain Marvel then? Well, while I think the trailers do a decent job of showing off the new character, they don't really tell us a whole lot about who she is exactly. The first half of the first trailer is almost all Nick Fury. He's talking about alien invasions and car chases and almost wanting to retire, which is cool, but those are all things we've seen already in Marvel films. We know aliens exist in this universe. We've seen plenty of cool car chases throughout these films. What else you got? What else new do you have? What about your title character? The rest of the trailer shows us glimpses of Carol Danvers' life on Earth, with her basically saying, I think I'm from here, but I don't know. And then we get some quick looks at some of the other characters and Captain Marvel punching an old woman before we get Nick Fury saying that he needs her and the now iconic tagline, discover what makes her a hero. Okay, so from this trailer, the very first trailer for Captain Marvel, we can take away that she might be from Earth or she might be from an alien planet. We can see that she's very powerful and that she's very important. What else you got? Is she a smartass? Is she an arrogant meathead? Is she a scrappy underdog? Is she a misfit looking for a place to belong? This trailer didn't really give us any character traits of Carol Danvers aside from the fact that she's a stoic badass, which is fine, but at this point, after 10 years, there should be something else. There should be that extra thing that separates Captain Marvel from all the other Marvel heroes. And the CGI set pieces and action sequences that were shown in the trailer really didn't do enough to separate it from your Iron Mans, your Captain Americas, your Guardians of the Galaxies and whatnot. I mean, to be fair, you're not going to see Captain America punch an old lady, but you might see Rocket Raccoon do it. Now, trailer 2 actually starts with an explanation as to why she's punching the old lady, and it actually introduces us to the film's main antagonist, the Skrull. It also gives us some background on the Kree, the race that Carol Danvers belongs to, and says that they're noble warrior heroes. We then get Annette Bening saying that the Kree saved Carol and helped her become better and stronger than ever before. And then we get more talk about her mysterious past and how she's going to end the war between the Skrull and the Kree. Okay, we get a few more story beats here, but still no more actual characterization for Carol Danvers. The closest we get is that little beat in the middle where Fury asks if she can fly the plane and she says, I think so. It shows that she at least has some amount of easygoing confidence to her, but the rest of the trailer was still stoic badass. It was a lot of her giving her angry face, her giving the hang loose sign to her wingmate, and then her scolding Nick Fury for petting a cat. And in terms of the big action set pieces that might show off her skills and abilities, it really just looked like Iron Man, but with a blonde mohawk. Marvel films have often been criticized for having a homogeneous look to them, and this trailer didn't really do anything to silence those criticisms. Now, before we move on, I feel I must stress that just because I think she's being too much of a stoic badass in these trailers, does not mean I think she needs to smile more. People who actually think this have obviously never met an actual woman. My problem isn't that she's being portrayed as a stoic badass. I have no problem with stoic badasses. This is my favorite character after all. My problem is that they're showing a stoic badass and nothing else. Marvel has really been pushing the fact that Captain Marvel is their ultimate superhero. And they've been kind of leaning hard into the whole woman aspect because 2019. And you know what? That's great. We do need more female superheroes on the big screen. But the problem is, we already got a stoic badass superhero who also happened to be a woman on the big screen 2 years ago. And in those trailers, we got a lot more than just shots of Diana looking tough. The very first trailer showed her being curious about man's world because she had never seen a man before. We saw her be a scared daughter, realizing that she's leaving her home and her mother for the first time to venture into the unknown. We saw her be a noble warrior who's willing and ready to dive headfirst into action to do what's right. Those trailers really showed off Wonder Woman's character. Those trailers gave us a sense of who she is as a person. Captain Marvel isn't really doing that. It really isn't showing us who she is other than tough chick. And that's not really enough. Now, the third trailer for Captain Marvel, the special look that debuted during college football, actually does show us a little bit of Carol's character. For one thing, she's not focused on her mysterious past as much. In this trailer, we actually get to see that she's snarky, quick-witted, comes off with an aura of experience. You get the sense that she's tired of Jude Law pushing her around. Yeah, she doesn't know her history, but she isn't letting that define her so much as just be curious as to what it could have been. Which is great! We finally know something about Carol Danvers in this film besides the fact that she's tough and important. So why wasn't this the very first thing you showed us? Or the second? Why is this the third thing you're showing us? If you're wondering why I'm acting like I don't know who Captain Marvel is when I read comics, that's not the point. I've read Kelly Sue DeConnick's excellent work on Captain Marvel, so I know who Carol Danvers is supposed to be. She's self-assured, determined, willing to push herself, to prove herself in front of everybody, no matter the cost. But that's comic book Carol Danvers. Movie Carol Danvers could very well be all of that, but the trailer isn't showing me that. It's not showing us that. We don't need to be told that she's important. We pretty much got that already when she was announced to be the first woman headlining her own Marvel film ahead of other characters like Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Wasp, or the current Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. Also, and spoiler alert for Infinity War, we know that she's kind of important if she's the one Nick Fury calls when everybody turns to ash. But just telling us that she's an important character and not giving us a reason to care about her isn't exactly a good strategy. It's almost as if Marvel is just trying to coast on their name recognition for this character. It's like, hey, it's another Marvel film. This character's gonna be a big deal in Endgame. You're gonna need to see this movie. And by not showing us a lot of Carol's character, it's leading me to get the idea that Marvel isn't confident in her as a character. So they're just trying to portray her as a generic badass and hoping that the hype from Infinity War and the hype for Endgame will be enough to put butts in seats for this movie. And that honestly sucks because not only do we as fans deserve better, but Carol Danvers as a character deserves better. She's one of Marvel's best creations and one of the few comic book characters to truly evolve over time to become the ultimate version of herself. To not showcase her other characteristics besides amnesiac badass really does the character a disservice. We're less than 2 months away from the release of this film, so now is the time to drum up as much hype as possible. And the best way to do this at this juncture is to really just show us who Carol Danvers is. Show us that she's witty or hopeful or scared. Show us more than Brie Larson's "I'm going to hurt you" face. Show us who Carol Danvers is so that we can care about Captain Marvel. Okay, now that I've said all of that, now is the part where I open the floodgates and I ask you what you think of the Captain Marvel trailers. Do they make you excited to see the movie, or are you also lukewarm on them for any reason? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. Boy, I sure hope this doesn't turn into a shit show. I'm ready, don't worry. If you're the type of person who likes to do homework before going to see a movie, I have Amazon links in the description to Kelly Sue DeConnick's run on Captain Marvel. It really is very good, and I think it might just be the best way to figure out who this character is before you go see the movie, if the trailers don't show us anything anymore. I mean, supposedly they're taking a lot from that run. I don't blame them. It is the definitive run on the character, but show us that in the trailers. please. And of course, don't forget to check out Wulff Den Apparel. Don't forget that we have new videos every Tuesday and Wednesday, and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern is Wulff Den Live. So subscribe to see all of that, like this video, and share it with a friend who also isn't sure why the Captain Marvel trailers aren't connecting with him the way the other Marvel movie trailers did. I think it might be because the character isn't being conveyed very well, but again, that's just me. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.